Macron is meeting with Truss right now. Do you think anything will come of it? Because I think the jury is out as to whether or not Emmanuel Macron is a friend.
Maybe she's talking about Ukraine, where currently French and British government shares the same position. But for the rest, I think it's more talking, because when we talk about energy, you will have some interconnection within both countries. But about immigration, I mean, I don't really believe in a European policy because the EU institutions are pro-immigration, whereas it's the European Union with the European Court of Justice, or whether also when we talk about the European Human Rights Court, which always gives the right for asylum seeker, even if the right is denied, to stay in the country. So I don't think the EU will be of a great help if we talk about immigration. And I think it's the main issue that we face between the UK and France right now. And it's a more global issue, I would say, because all the asylum seekers that we are living today, we are seeing today, it's not about asylum right. Actually, it's economic migrants. We know it.
This is it. And on this point, I'm very keen to get your views, because you are the leader of France's Generation Frexit group. So obviously, don't particularly want to be in the European Union. And you mentioned economic migration there. Are you then actually quite happy to see these, a lot of them anyway, economic migrants leaving France and coming across the Channel to Britain?
I mean, we have a lot as well. Some are joining the UK, but just to have in mind the figures on why it's now economic migrants and it's not asylum seeker. If you back in France, is in 1973, we had 1,600 asylum seeker asking per year. In 2012, it was 60,000 per year, and in 2019, it's 180,000 people asking for asylum right.
Yeah.
So it's not anymore something about to have one people from a country in war. It's really whole countries moving to Europe, or in particular to France and the UK. And it's a problem, because I think, maybe you will share the position, but you can integrate individuals, but you cannot integrate whole country. And when we have neighborhood in France or in the UK, where you have only foreigners, these people, as they live, as it was the case in their country, you cannot have integration. Yeah. It's like two countries apart. It's the main issue. You can have immigration, but we have to reduce the flows, whether it's illegal or legal immigration. If you want to integrate people, we have to reduce the flow. And you have totally different realities across Europe. In France and the UK, you have an important immigration, and you have also an important natality rate. It's not the case in Spain and Germany, for example, where they will host as well some migrants. But when you open the flows,
part of the problem. I mean, I from what I could gather there, essentially agree with a huge amount of what you've just said. But I can't help but wonder, Charles-Henri, whether or not part of the problem is that we're being told now that we don't have any national culture. So the French have a very proud national culture. The Brits, we have a national culture as well. The Germans have a national culture. The Spanish have a national culture, etc., etc., etc. But when you're told that you are just part of one homogenous Eurozone, as it were, you appear to lose your national culture, which I can't help but wonder makes it easier or more palatable to accept hundreds of thousands, millions of people with a radically different culture across all of those things. And you are now racist if you disagree with the fact that maybe integration isn't working.
No, you're right. The European integration is also to kill the national identities. And when you kill the national identities, it's a way to say you can integrate every culture, everything is different. I mean, to love your national culture is not to hate the other one, but I think all French people, or let's say the majority of French people, they want France to stay France. It's the same in the UK. It's the same in Spain, but sometimes you've got this bureaucratic elite in Brussels and even in national governments that want another way. And that's why we are suffering immigration. And also when you have a different policy in a country, and as we are part of the EU for France, for example, when Merkel decided to make enter many people from Syria, they were in Europe, they were in the Schengen area, so they could go to Germany, but they could go everywhere else. And it's like a huge flow of people that have come to Europe. I think Douglas Murray written about it, but it's really true, and it's a huge problem for France, for UK.
Just very quickly, very quickly. Sorry, because we're pressed for time. There is a meeting now of European leaders looking to help sort out one of the issues: illegal immigration. Do you just think that they don't want to sort out illegal immigration as a group?
I think it will be just talking, and they won't change any rule in the EU. They won't change the Dublin system. They won't change the Schengen area. So it will be talking, but at the end they won't act.
Okay. Look.